Do you believe death is truly the end? What if a person's essence could traverse time, carrying memories, talents, and even traumas into a new life? Reincarnation, one of humanity's oldest ideas, not only fascinates but also raises questions about the boundaries of existence. Amid reports of children manifesting inexplicable memories and abilities, a mystery leaves the world in suspense. Could Michael Jackson, the eternal king of pop, have been reincarnated? Welcome to another night where mysteries never sleep. I am Midnight, and this is 7 Nights. Before we dive into this story filled with chilling revelations, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. It helps us continue exploring the most hidden secrets for you. Ready to discover what lurks in the shadows? Today, we will delve into disturbing accounts of children who claim to have been Michael Jackson in another life, manifestations of early talents, and even physical marks that seem to defy any rational explanation. The question lingers: could the king of pop truly be unable to rest in peace? Beliefs in reincarnation. Reincarnation is one of humanity's most fascinating and ancient ideas. Reincarnation, the concept that makes you wonder if that annoying person in your life is just karma or your medieval enemy coming back to settle a score. Different cultures around the world believe the soul is eternal and that after the death of the physical body, it finds a new vessel to continue its journey. This concept features prominently in religions like Hinduism and Buddhism, where reincarnation is seen as a natural part of the life cycle, known as samsara. However, reincarnation isn't limited to religious beliefs. It also piques the interest of paranormal researchers and even scientists who investigate cases of children with memories of past lives. Many of these stories include unnervingly precise details that defy logical explanation. Proponents of this theory claim that souls with intense or unfinished lives tend to return more quickly. Figures who left an indelible mark on the world with extraordinary talents or tragic destinies are thought to be more likely to reincarnate to complete what was left unfinished. Michael Jackson is a particularly compelling case. His life was marked by unparalleled talent, but also by conflicts, controversies, and a constant quest for inner peace. Did he truly pass on, or is his soul seeking another chance for redemption? The concept of reincarnation suggests that the legacy of someone so powerful never completely disappears. It finds a way to continue. An intriguing characteristic of reincarnation cases is the manifestation of memories, talents, and even traumas in a new life. Very young children, as early as 2 or 3 years old, recount specific memories of places, people, and events they couldn't possibly know. Additionally, some display advanced skills, such as playing instruments, singing, or dancing with extraordinary talent. In Michael Jackson's case, these manifestations are eerily consistent. Around the world, reports of children with similar talents, unusual behaviors, and mysterious memories suggest that the king of pop's story may not have ended in 2009. Science remains skeptical about reincarnation, but cannot ignore the thousands of accounts over the years. Dr. Ian Stevenson, one of the leading researchers on the topic, documented hundreds of remarkable cases where children appeared to recall past lives in extraordinary detail. Among the most common signs are an affinity for certain talents, inexplicable fears, and even birthmarks that some believe carry traces of trauma from a previous life. Could it be that Michael Jackson, with all his genius and intensity, left such a profound mark that his soul needed to return? Beyond the reports, there's the question of purpose. Many beliefs hold that reincarnation isn't random. It carries meaning, a mission to be fulfilled. Michael Jackson used his art to convey powerful messages of love, peace, and unity. Yet, his life was also marked by loneliness, suffering, and an unrelenting search for acceptance. Could reincarnation offer his soul the opportunity to complete this unfinished journey? If so, where is he now? Who might be the new vessel for the king of pop's soul? These unsettling questions leave us restless. The idea that Michael Jackson might have reincarnated evokes mixed reactions. For some, it's a comforting possibility. For others, it's a disturbing concept that challenges logic. What makes this theory even more intriguing are the accounts that surfaced after his death. Children and young people with inexplicable talents, familiar behaviors, and even memories that seem to point to the star's life. Coincidence? Or a sign that the cycle of life continues and that souls like his never truly depart? This is where the mystery begins to take shape. The first rumors. Shortly after Michael Jackson's death on June 25, 2009, the world stood still. The king of pop had left millions of fans grieving, but for many, his presence never completely vanished. A few months later, strange reports began to surface. Everyone was shocked by Michael's death, and there he was, maybe already planning his second debut. Did he send invites from beyond? People claimed to feel Michael's presence, hear his voice, or even see him in dreams. The most astonishing reports involved young children who suddenly exhibited extraordinary musical abilities or referenced memories that didn't seem to belong to them. These stories gained traction and left a haunting question in the air. Could Michael Jackson have returned? One of the first accounts came from a small town in the United States. A 4-year-old girl shocked her family by dancing almost identically to Michael Jackson's performance in Billie Jean, despite never having seen videos of the singer. When asked, she reportedly said something chilling. "I already knew how to dance like this before I was born." Her family, alarmed, didn't know how to explain it. Gradually, similar cases emerged. Children who had never been exposed to Michael Jackson exhibited strange behaviors, like requesting to wear white gloves or expressing a desire to be on brightly lit stages without understanding why. In addition to physical manifestations, some reports involved fragmented memories. A child in Japan said he remembered a crowd screaming and lights so bright they hurt his eyes. Such details left parents concerned, as there was no way to explain these statements. In another case, a boy in Canada began singing Michael Jackson's songs with an eerily similar voice, even though he had never heard the songs before. How could such uncommon talents appear out of nowhere? And why did so many children worldwide display such similar signs? Experts started taking an interest in the reports, investigating whether there might be something more than coincidence. Child psychologists and paranormal researchers interviewed some of these children and found alarming patterns. They exhibited affinities for music, dance, and the pop star's characteristic style, as if there were an unexplainable connection. To skeptics, this could simply be a projection of adults influenced by Michael's fame. However, the precise details and spontaneous behavior of the children seemed to defy logical explanations. Another curious aspect is that these children often expressed feelings of longing or loneliness, as if they were out of place in time. Some would cry upon hearing the singer's songs, saying they missed something they couldn't explain. These signs intrigued spiritualists, who believe that memories of past lives can surface in children with special sensitivity. Could it be that Michael Jackson's soul was manifesting again through these young prodigies? With each new account, the mystery deepened. The early rumors quickly spread and began fueling unsettling theories. If souls truly can reincarnate, it wouldn't be impossible to imagine someone like Michael Jackson, whose creative energy and impact on the world were unparalleled, returning. The concept of reincarnation suggests that special souls carry a greater purpose, and that even after death, they continue their journey in another body. With the growing number of reports worldwide, it became increasingly difficult to ignore the question: is the king of pop living among us again, in a new form? Children who claim to be Michael. Children are often seen as pure beings, free from the influences and limitations of adulthood. This is why, when some begin to recount strange memories or exhibit inexplicable talents, it becomes difficult to ignore. Cases involving children who claim to have been Michael Jackson in a past life are particularly unsettling. It's not just simple admiration for the star, but spontaneous behaviors and statements that defy any logic. These accounts are even more intriguing because they emerge at very young ages, when imagination would hardly be capable of creating something so specific. One of the most well-known cases is that of an American child named Alex, aged 5. One day, while listening to the radio in the car, he started singing "Smooth Criminal" flawlessly, even mimicking Michael Jackson's characteristic tones and falsettos. His parents, impressed, asked him where he had learned the song, and his response gave them chills. "I've always sung this. I am Michael." Moreover, Alex began performing the famous moonwalk with astonishing precision. His parents, who had never encouraged exposure to the king of pop's music, were baffled. Another intriguing case occurred in Brazil. A 6-year-old girl named Sophia surprised her family by asking to wear a black hat and a white glove for her school performance. When she stepped onto the stage, Sophia danced to "Beat It" with such precision that her teachers believed she had rehearsed for months. The truth, however, was that Sophia had never seen videos of Michael Jackson. When asked where she had learned the dance, her answer was simple: "I already knew how to do this. I've always known." Stories like this challenge any rational explanation and reinforce the belief that something deeper is happening. These children not only exhibit extraordinary talents, but also display behaviors that strongly resemble Michael's. Some of them fear stages and crowds, just as the star confessed to feeling during his childhood, while others appear extremely self-critical, constantly striving for perfection. These traits are unsettling because they emerge spontaneously and naturally, without any external influence. How could a child develop such specific fears and behaviors without knowing Michael Jackson's story? Beyond the talents and behaviors, there are emotional accounts. Many of these children feel a profound sadness when listening to the king of pop's music, as if connected to that story in some way. Some even cry and say disconcerting phrases like, "I didn't want to leave," or "I remember when people loved me so much." Such statements have left parents and scholars stunned, as they carry an emotional weight that does not align with the lightheartedness expected in childhood. Could this be a genuine manifestation of past memories? With so many accounts emerging worldwide, it's difficult to dismiss them as mere coincidences. While many skeptics prefer to believe these are simply impressionable children, the details, spontaneity, and similarities in these stories suggest something much deeper. If reincarnation is real, could it be possible that Michael Jackson's soul is manifesting in multiple children across the world? With each new story, the doubt grows, and the mystery surrounding the king of pop becomes even more chilling. The story of James, the little Michael. Among all the accounts of children showing eerie signs of being the possible reincarnation of Michael Jackson, the story of James W., a 6-year-old boy from England, stands out. James surprised his parents by performing, without any instruction, the iconic moonwalk, one of the king of pop's most famous dance moves. At first, the family thought it was just a coincidence or some kind of spontaneous mimicry. However, what seemed like a simple game soon turned into something much more unsettling. James began to demonstrate remarkable precision in his movements and music, as if he had known it all for a long time. I can see James in a few years becoming the next TikTok sensation, moonwalking everywhere. James's parents, who were never big fans of Michael Jackson and therefore had no videos or music of the singer at home, were intrigued. When they asked the boy where he had learned to dance that way, his response was shocking. "I've always danced like this, Mommy. I am him." In addition to his dancing skills, James began singing songs like Billie Jean and Thriller with a surprisingly pitch-perfect voice that echoed Michael's style. The family was so alarmed that they sought help from experts to understand what was happening to their son. During an interview with psychologists, James revealed details that left everyone speechless. He mentioned illuminated stages, glittering outfits, and even the sound of crowds screaming his name. These accounts could not have come from the imagination of a 6-year-old, especially since he had never been exposed to Michael Jackson's biography. James also displayed curious behaviors, such as wanting to wear white gloves and black hats. When questioned, he simply said, "That's how I liked to dress before." The case began to draw attention and spark debates among scholars and spiritualists. What makes James's story even more unsettling is the fact that he exhibited fears and traumas similar to those described by Michael Jackson during his childhood. James had an inexplicable phobia of crowds and was extremely demanding of his own performances. He would cry if he made a mistake and would say things like, "They'll be mad at me." This obsession with perfection was a hallmark of Michael Jackson's life, who from a young age was pressured to be flawless. How could such a young child develop fears and behaviors so similar to those of the king of pop? The family, though frightened, sought guidance from reincarnation experts. According to researchers, children with past life memories often exhibit early talents, unexplainable phobias, and even specific preferences that do not fit the environment in which they were raised. James fit these patterns perfectly. For spiritualists, his natural ability in music and dance was evidence that Michael Jackson's soul had found a new home. The boy wasn't just imitating the star, but seemed to embody part of him, as if old memories had been dormant and were now resurfacing. James's case gained international attention and divided opinions. For skeptics, it was merely extraordinary coincidences or an impressionable child. For those who believe in reincarnation, James was living proof that souls can return, carrying fragments of their past lives. The story of the little Michael raises a disturbing question. What if the king of pop's legacy isn't limited to his work? What if he really has returned, seeking a new chance to experience what he left unfinished? The connection with the spiritual world. Michael Jackson's death was an event that shook the world. Despite his brilliance, the star's life was marked by suffering, controversies, and an unrelenting search for love and acceptance. According to spiritualists, souls that endure such intense and tumultuous lives often struggle to move on after death. They remain in a state of restlessness, carrying the need to resolve unfinished matters. Could this be why Michael Jackson's energy seems to have never completely vanished? For many, reincarnation might be a way for a soul to seek redemption or fulfill a greater purpose. The idea that Michael Jackson may have reincarnated ties directly to the concept of spiritual missions. According to ancient beliefs, souls that had a profound impact on the world returned to continue their journey in another body. Michael was not just an artist, he was a messenger. His songs spoke of love, peace, and hope, but they also reflected the loneliness and struggles he endured. Perhaps his soul's mission is not yet complete, and it has found a new way to manifest itself. Could it be possible that children who exhibit inexplicable talents and memories are new vessels for this restless soul? Some accounts suggest that Michael Jackson believed in life after death and the eternity of the soul. In interviews, he mentioned his connection to the spiritual, and even a feeling that his life had a greater purpose. In a chilling statement, he once said, "I don't think this life is the end. I'm sure I'll continue somewhere else, maybe as someone else." At the time, these words went unnoticed, but today they seem almost prophetic. Could it be that Michael Jackson already knew his journey would not end there? Spiritualists argue that the signs of reincarnation are clear: extraordinary abilities, vivid memories, and behaviors that cannot be explained by genetics or environment. In the case of children who exhibit signs connected to Michael Jackson, the patterns are disturbingly consistent. Not only do they sing and dance like the star, but they also share his insecurities and fears. This reinforces the theory that the soul carries fragments of a previous life, manifesting them in new existences. Contact with the spiritual world may also explain the dreams and visions reported by people close to the singer. There are accounts from fans and friends who say they feel Michael's presence or even receive him in dreams, as if he is trying to send a message. For some spiritualists, these manifestations are a sign that his soul is still active, seeking a way to complete its mission. Could these children be the result of this relentless search? Are they carrying the weight of a life that has not yet found rest? These connections to the spiritual world make us reflect on the mysteries of life and death. If souls can indeed reincarnate, Michael Jackson would be the most extraordinary example of this phenomenon. His energy, talent, and impact on the world were so intense that perhaps it was impossible for him to simply disappear. Maybe his soul is seeking a new voice, a new stage, to continue shining and delivering its message to the world. Evidence and signs of reincarnation. The theory of reincarnation has always been shrouded in mystery, but some researchers believe there are subtle signs that may indicate when a soul returns in a new life. Among the most common indicators are early talents, vivid memories of events the person could not have experienced, and even physical marks on the body. These traces of a past life have been documented in various cases around the world, including children who astonish by displaying innate skills. In Michael Jackson's case, reports of children with musical and dance talents, as well as disturbing memories, began to emerge shortly after his death. Coincidence or a sign of something much deeper? One of the most intriguing pieces of evidence is the appearance of extraordinary talents in very young children. It is common for parents to report that their children, even before being exposed to music or dance, demonstrate skills that defy explanation. A girl in the United States, only 4 years old, was caught by her parents imitating Michael Jackson's moves with astonishing precision. Without ever watching videos of the star, she managed to replicate even the most difficult nuances of the moonwalk. Stories like these leave skeptics baffled, as it is hard to explain how such young children could spontaneously manifest such abilities. In addition to talents, there is the phenomenon of past life memories, something that has been studied for decades. Researchers such as Dr. Ian Stevenson have documented cases of children who recount impressive details about a previous life, including names, places, and events. In many of these cases, the information provided by the children was verified and confirmed, even though they had no way of knowing it. In the case of children who claim to have been Michael Jackson, some speak of illuminated stages, crowds, and even emotional experiences related to fame and isolation. These statements are eerily similar to accounts given by the singer during his lifetime. Another interesting point is the emotional manifestations accompanying these cases. Many children who exhibit abilities related to Michael Jackson also express feelings of sadness, or loneliness that do not align with their current experiences. A little girl in Japan, upon hearing the song "You Are Not Alone," began crying inexplicably and said, "I miss them." When questioned, she could not explain who they were, but her words left the family perplexed. Cases like this reinforce the idea that the soul can carry emotions and memories that surface in new lives. There are also accounts of physical marks that could be interpreted as signs of reincarnation. According to some theories, traumas or distinctive characteristics from a past life can be reflected on the body in a new incarnation. Some children showing signs related to Michael Jackson have small spots or birthmarks in places that, according to spiritualists, could symbolically represent the previous life. Although a controversial point, it becomes intriguing when combined with other evidence. Could these small details be further indications that the King of Pop's soul has found a new body? The accumulated evidence and signs over the years do not provide a definitive answer, but raise questions that cannot be ignored. How can we explain extraordinary talents, vivid memories, and highly specific behaviors displayed by children around the world? If reincarnation is real, Michael Jackson could be one of the most remarkable cases ever documented. The King of Pop, with all his brilliance and intensity, may have left such a deep imprint on the universe that his soul could not depart. If he has indeed returned, the world may be facing a mystery that defies human understanding. Cases in other countries. Reports involving children who display signs of reincarnation are not limited to the United States or Europe. In various parts of the world, surprising cases have emerged of children who, in some way, seem connected to Michael Jackson. In India, for example, a 7-year-old boy astonished his community by performing dance moves identical to those of the King of Pop, despite living in an area with no access to television or the internet. 7 years old, in a remote village, dancing like Michael. Someone tell Netflix this case deserves a documentary ASAP. When asked how he had learned, he simply replied, "I remember. I've done this before." His family, perplexed, saw the case as a divine sign, but the story gained notoriety and attracted the attention of researchers. In Brazil, an 8-year-old girl named Isabella caught attention when she asked her parents to sing like Michael. Without ever having watched videos or even knowing the singer's story, she reproduced excerpts of songs with a surprisingly similar voice, including precise falsettos and a unique rhythmic cadence. The family, who initially thought it was just a playful act, was alarmed when Isabella began talking about stages, lights, and even the discomfort of being watched by many people. According to reports, she even said, "I didn't want everyone looking at me." This phrase echoes sentiments Michael Jackson often expressed about his childhood and the pressures of fame. Another curious case came from Japan, where a 5-year-old boy demonstrated an innate talent for playing the piano. His parents, who had never given him lessons, were shocked to see him reproduce melodies from Michael Jackson's famous songs flawlessly. Additionally, the boy insisted on wearing a single white glove while playing, a detail that left his family intrigued. When asked about his preferences, he simply said, "I've always played this way." This type of account, where children exhibit very specific behaviors and preferences, is a common pattern in reincarnation stories. In South Africa, a 12-year-old schoolgirl surprised her friends by creating a choreography identical to that used by Michael Jackson in Thriller. Most impressively, she had never seen the music video. According to reports, the girl had a dream in which she was dancing among monsters, a description eerily similar to the theme of the original music video. Such manifestations raise important questions. How can children from such culturally and geographically distant places display such similar signs? Could this be proof that Michael Jackson's soul is trying to manifest around the world? The cases in other countries reinforce the idea that something much larger may be happening. Michael Jackson's talent and energy were so impactful that they may have transcended the barriers of time and space. These accounts emerge in different languages, cultures, and contexts, but share eerily similar patterns: precocious talents, unusual behaviors, and memories that shouldn't exist. Specialists believe that if reincarnation is real, Michael Jackson might be manifesting his presence in multiple children around the world, as if his soul were fragmented and seeking a way to continue its journey. These accounts make us question the limits of human existence. What happens to us after death? Can souls truly return, carrying memories and talents from past lives? If the cases involving children around the world are true, the King of Pop may not only have returned, but also be preparing the world for something much greater. Michael Jackson lived an extraordinary life, and perhaps his journey is not yet over. Did Michael Jackson know? Michael Jackson was much more than just an artist. He was a complex man, deeply spiritual, and always searching for answers to life's and death's mysteries. During interviews and intimate conversations, the singer often mentioned his interest in topics like reincarnation, spirituality, and the eternal cycle of the soul. For him, life had a greater purpose, and death was not the definitive end. In a documentary, Michael made a statement that now sounds almost prophetic. "I don't believe this life is the end. There's something beyond, something we keep doing after we leave." These words left many fans with chills after his death. Could it be that he already felt his soul carried a greater destiny? Michael was already scripting it. He knew he'd still make waves even after he was gone. One of the most unsettling details is that Michael Jackson had an almost romantic view of the soul's eternity. He believed that people leave such profound marks on the world that, even after passing, they continued to influence generations. Close friends reported that the singer often reflected on death, immortality, and what would happen to him when his life ended. On one occasion, Michael confided that he believed his mission on Earth was to spread love and unite people through music. However, he also seemed concerned, as if he sensed he wouldn't live long enough to fulfill that mission. Another interesting point is the messages conveyed in his music. In songs like Heal the World and Man in the Mirror, Michael speaks about the need for change, love, and redemption. The depth of these lyrics suggests a soul searching for something greater, almost as if he were trying to leave timeless messages that would resonate even after his departure. For spiritualists, these songs were a reflection of Michael's understanding of life's cycle. He knew his work would not end with his death, and perhaps believed his soul would keep returning until his mission was finally completed. There are also accounts of dreams and spiritual experiences the singer had. Michael Jackson mentioned in some interviews that he felt a strong spiritual connection to the universe, as if he were linked to something greater than himself. In a conversation with a friend, he stated that he had recurring dreams where voices called him to continue his journey elsewhere. These statements, which at the time seemed poetic, are now seen by many as signs that he already knew his soul carried a special destiny. Could this have been a premonition of his possible reincarnation? Furthermore, the symbols Michael used in his artistic career also raise questions. His costumes, performances, and even the themes in his videos often flirted with ideas of immortality and rebirth. In Ghosts and Thriller, for example, he portrays the concept of transcending death and returning in a surprising way. These artistic details might have been mere creative choices, but they are intriguing when viewed from the perspective of reincarnation. It's as if Michael were sending signals that his story was far from over. Finally, Michael Jackson's life was marked by a constant sense of incompleteness. Despite all his success, he seemed to carry an invisible weight, a search for something he perhaps didn't find in his earthly existence. For those who believe in reincarnation, this feeling of an unfinished mission can be one of the main reasons a soul returns. Did Michael know his journey was bigger than one lifetime? If he sensed his story would continue, then the reports of children around the world may be just the beginning of something much deeper and unexplainable. Physical evidence? When we talk about reincarnation, many people imagine only memories or abilities that emerge out of nowhere. However, there is another intriguing phenomenon that piques the interest of researchers: physical marks. According to some spiritual theories, traumas or significant features from a previous life can manifest on the body in a new incarnation. This includes birthmarks, unexplained scars, and even physical traits similar to those from a prior life. In the case of children who supposedly carry the soul of Michael Jackson, there are curious accounts involving these physical marks. Could they be remnants of the extraordinary life of the King of Pop? One specific case occurred in the United States, where a 7-year-old boy named Brian was born with a dark mark on his skin, located in the same area where Michael Jackson had his famous vitiligo. His parents, skeptical about reincarnation, believed nothing out of the ordinary until the boy began to show an impressive talent for singing and dancing. In addition to the mark, he also exhibited detailed and perfectionist behavior, much like Michael's. When asked about it, the boy said he felt as if he had done it before. Such accounts provoke reflection on how far the body can carry memories of past lives. Another case involved a girl in Canada who, from a young age, had small scars on her face that seemed to appear without any cause. Coincidentally, they were located in the same areas where Michael Jackson had undergone cosmetic surgeries during his life. The family didn't make the connection until they noticed that the girl had an unusual fixation on white gloves and black hats. Additionally, she displayed exceptional talent for singing and dancing, even without encouragement. The combination of physical traits and early abilities left her parents both intrigued and alarmed. Physical marks may seem like coincidences, but for spiritualists, they are important signs of a previous life. Often, these marks emerge as symbolic remnants of traumatic or memorable experiences of the soul in its former incarnation. In Michael Jackson's case, his physical appearance was an important part of his journey, marked by both transformations and personal challenges. Could it be possible for the soul to carry these symbols with it upon returning? If so, this could explain reports of children with spots, scars, and other features resembling the singer. In addition to physical marks, there are accounts of children experiencing unexplained pain in specific parts of the body. Some mention discomfort in the face, feet, or hands, areas that Michael Jackson frequently highlighted in his performances. This raises the hypothesis that, besides talents and memories, the soul might also carry sensory remnants of previous experiences. Although these accounts are not conclusive, they add yet another eerie layer to the mystery of reincarnation. The phenomenon of physical evidence makes us question to what extent the soul influences the body. If souls can reincarnate and bring with them memories, emotions, and abilities, why wouldn't they also manifest physical traits? The stories of children who carry these characteristics, combined with their astonishing abilities, are hard to ignore. If these signs are real, then the return of Michael Jackson might not just be a theory, but a chilling possibility that challenges everything we know about life and death. Will Michael's voice return? In light of so many unsettling accounts and evidence that defy any logical explanation, an even more intriguing question arises. If Michael Jackson's soul has reincarnated, will the world hear his voice again? When we think of reincarnation, the most common idea is that talents and memories are fragments that survive death and manifest in new lives. Children who dance, sing, or even exhibit behaviors similar to those of the King of Pop may be glimpses of his presence still echoing among us. But how far could this go? What if, in a few years, a new star emerges with an eerily familiar talent? Reincarnation experts claim that, in many cases, the soul carries special gifts that flourish again in its new existences. Michael Jackson was one of the greatest musical geniuses in history, with an unmistakable voice and artistic abilities that transcended generations. For some spiritualists, this level of talent never truly disappears. It manifests in subtle ways until it finds a new body capable of carrying it. Some believe that somewhere in the world, a child is growing up with the same potential as the King of Pop. Perhaps they haven't been discovered yet, or perhaps they are waiting for the right moment to shine. There are cases that reinforce this theory. Accounts of young children singing Michael Jackson's songs with uncanny perfection have surfaced worldwide. A 9-year-old girl in Russia caught attention when she began singing Man in the Mirror, with a voice so similar that it moved everyone around her. Her parents stated that she had never studied music and didn't even know who Michael Jackson was before that moment. These occurrences are sporadic, but evoke an inexplicable sense of déjà vu. Could it be that Michael's voice is trying to return through other children? Beyond voices, dancing abilities are another clear sign that perplexes experts. Children replicating the moonwalk, Michael's iconic movements, and even his artistic expressions demonstrate a precision that seems impossible to achieve without training. How can so many young people worldwide execute these steps so naturally? It wouldn't be far-fetched to imagine that, in a few years, one of these spontaneous talents might become a global star, leaving the world in shock upon realizing that Michael Jackson's brilliance never truly faded. Coincidence, or an inevitable cycle of destiny? Some spiritualists believe that reincarnations have key moments when their dormant memories and gifts awaken. This can happen through external stimuli like hearing a song, seeing an image, or even having specific dreams. Thus, the innate talent of the new generation could emerge when least expected, like a kind of calling. If this theory is correct, the world might soon witness the rise of a figure that echoes the legacy of the King of Pop, bringing back his music, messages, and perhaps even his voice. The return of Michael Jackson, even in a new form, is a possibility that challenges us to rethink everything we know about life, death, and talent. His impact on the world was so profound that perhaps he found a way to continue, transcending generations and defying time. Who knows, perhaps in the not-so-distant future, a new star will rise, bringing with them a familiar voice and extraordinary talent. And when that happens, it will be impossible not to wonder, has the king of pop returned? The story of Michael Jackson's reincarnation makes us reflect on what happens after death. Extraordinary talents, physical marks, and inexplicable memories challenge our beliefs about life and death. This story is just one piece in one day. Perhaps we will see the whole puzzle. If this made you think, subscribe and like the video. It helps the channel grow. Don't forget to share. After all, more voices mean more discoveries. If you've made it this far, it's because something in this mystery captivated you. But I bet you haven't seen everything yet. Click on the next videos now to continue your journey into the unknown. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe so you don't miss the next secrets I'm about to reveal. But be careful, once you step inside, there's no turning back.